Guys, what is cracking? It is Gray Tallow here, and going to be giving my picks for UFC on Fox 20. This is a bit of a sleeper event, as it really hasn't had a ton of hype, and we were coming off of a fair amount of events close to one another on UFC 200 weekend, and then, of course, the event that followed that Wednesday. But yeah, right from the United Center in Chicago, Illinois, July 23rd, Saturday night on Fox. I mean, they've got a pretty good card here. I'm going to be giving my picks for the main card. However, I'll go down and let you know what is on the prelims as well. And that is going to be starting off at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, UFC Fight Pass prelims. Luis Henrique, Dmitry Smolyakov, going to be kicking it off as the first fight, and then we've got Jim Ehlers versus Jason Knight. To end the prelims on Fight Pass, none other than the Moonwalker, James Moontasri versus Alex Oliveira. That's definitely a fight I'd like to catch. James Moontasri, one of the really exciting strikers coming up in the UFC. And then moving on, the prelims are going to be on Fox. So we've got both the prelim and main card on Fox this time. JC Cottrell versus Michel Prazeres. Moving forward, Kamaru Usman, who came off of The Ultimate Fighter a couple seasons back, faces Alexander Yakovlev. To get to the next two featured fight, Darren Elkins versus Godofredo Pepe, and capping off the prelims on Fox, Frankie Saenz versus Eddie Wineland. And if you're going to be tuning into this Fox prelim portion, that starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. So here we are, we're at the main card now, which kicks off at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox, and we have the ladies starting the main card, a fight between Kailin Curran and Felice Herrig. So Kailin Curran, one of those people that got off to a bit of a rocky start in the UFC, but she looks to have steadied herself, had a nice impressive victory in her last outing, and she'll be facing a true veteran in Felice Herrig. Felice with a 10-6 record, Kailin at 4-2, so obviously 10 more fights for Felice there, and that's a bit of a difference in experience if there ever was one, especially in the women's division where you don't see quite as many 20-plus fight records quite yet, being that, the women's leagues and chances for them to get fights, it's been a struggle, so now they're really hitting their stride and being able to fight once every 3, 4, 5 months. And in this fight, I'm going to go with Kailin. I just haven't seen enough from Felice to lead me to believe that she can overcome both the striking and ground game of Kailin. I think once this fight hits the ground, I think it's going to be Kailin, and she'll just take over. I do believe, I'm not saying that Felice doesn't present a challenge here. She's certainly a veteran, and her striking, her Muay Thai is formidable, but I have not seen enough of it at a high enough level inside the octagon that would, give me any real chance to think that I could pick her. So the confidence for me is certainly on Kailin Curran's side, and I'm excited to see this fight. I think that we'll see some more progression from Curran here and see her battle her way to a nice victory over Herrig. So moving forward, Bojan Mihajlovic, quite a last name there. Wanted to make sure I got it right before we start talking about Francis Ngannou. Francis, a guy that's at 7-1, sitting pretty with just some real solid finishes in his young UFC career. And although Bojan at 10-3, he's a formidable striker as well, fairly well-rounded, but I think that it's going to be the Francis show come tomorrow night, Saturday night, July 23rd. I believe that Francis will move to 8-1 from 7-1, get that next W, and continue to show why he is such a dominant force on the feet. He's such a big guy, and you'd think somebody like that might gas, but really, I've seen him go into some of the later rounds in fights, and it really hasn't been that big of an issue. So, the confidence is there. I feel comfortable picking him, and I think that Francis Ngannou go ahead with the additional victory to get him to 8-1 come Saturday night. And then moving forward, a great I'm just very, very pumped about this. Even more so than maybe the main event is a lightweight scrap between Edson Barboza and Gilbert El Nino Melendez. Edson at 17-4, Gilbert at 22-5. These are two experienced lightweights. Gilbert a little bit more of a, wrestle boxer type guy with great jiu-jitsu. Edson, although he can hold his own on the ground to an extent, his main bread and butter is striking. His Muay Thai is just devastating. So for me, I don't think it would be that smart for Gil to try to stand and box and kind of jab try to look for the takedown against Edson too long. I think he's obviously going to have to do that early if he wants to get the fight to the ground. But if that's a strategy, for over the course of 1.5, 2+ rounds, I just think Edson would pick him apart, especially because Gilbert is coming off of a fairly lengthy suspension for performance-enhancing drugs. So for my pick here is Barboza. I like Gilbert. I've watched him for quite a long time, ever since he was a champ back in Strikeforce, and he's done well for himself in the UFC, but I believe the ceiling at this point in their careers in 2016 is higher for Edson, and I think that he has the momentum, the striking skills, really just the devastating finishing ability to lead him to victory against El Nino. And then in the main event, former champ Holly Holm going up against Valentina Shevchenko. Holly with a record of 10-1. That one loss being to now former champion Miesha Tate, and Valentina with a record of 12-2. Both very impressive fighters. I'm a fan of Holly's. I like her. I like her both inside and outside the cage. And I really think that this fight will be contested entirely on the feet. I don't really see any reason for either of these ladies to take the fight to the ground. Certainly, we can see some surprises. Maybe it'll end up there if they feel like they're canceling each other out on the feet. But I just, that's where their bread and butter is. That's where the sweet spot is for these ladies in terms of their most impressive victories. And I think that we'll see a look from them early on, which is, testing each other, finding range, getting comfortable on the feet. Holly, what I'll be interested to see from her is how many kicks does she throw early versus, jabbing her way into range, and then go ahead and unloading with some combinations to set up the kicks, which is what she did against Ronda Rousey and a lot of her former opponents. With Valentina, incredible kicks as well, great Muay Thai background, kickboxing champion that's shown good high-level striking inside the UFC. If I had to make a pick, just really, looking at the just striking alone, tough to do right there, but when I look at the overall fight in terms of experience, high-level experience, and what I think the intangibles are, I'm going to go with Holly Holm. She said she's in a can't-lose mindset for this fight, trained incredibly hard, trained incredibly smart for it, and is ready for this opportunity to get back into really a chance to rematch Miesha Tate. She said she wants that rematch. She wants to get that victory, erase that loss against Miesha. Valentina, a very formidable challenger, somebody that's going to give her trouble, I'm sure, but I just think that the intangibles, the high-level experience, and the ability to overcome pressure, I think that Holly, with her professional boxing experience, just as long as she's been around in as many different types of events and environments as she's been in, she's shown she's a winner no matter what. So I'm going to roll with none other than Holly Holm for the main card, main event at the United Center in Chicago, Illinois on July 23rd, Saturday night. I'm really pumped about this, and I am very curious to hear about your picks. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking about this event. Are you excited for it? Are you not? Do you feel like it is a sleeper card where there hasn't been that much hype, but you're looking forward to it and you expect good fights? And check in with me on Twitter at 6th Round. That's at 6th Round. Chat with me during the fights. Let me know how you're enjoying them. And once again, I'll be back again for the next UFC event and give my picks for that as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at the calendar and see what that is. I know that there is a fairly loaded summer here, and there's been quite a lot of events, nearly one a week. And next time we'll be back with July 30th, UFC 201, Lawler versus Woodley. That's going to be on pay-per-view, Fox Sports 2, and UFC Fight Pass. That's coming to us from Atlanta, Georgia. So I'll certainly be putting together my picks for that event. Go over it, break it down, and I'm looking forward to talking with you guys about that one as well. So for Gray Italo doing the UFC Fox 20 Holm versus Shevchenko picks, I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks so much. I'll be seeing you again soon, and take care.